All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Thursday, March 4th. And if you're new here, I just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my channel. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you end up liking what you see here today, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and join the Brock Page family. I'd love to have you. And with that, guys, we got ourselves another kind of interesting slate of NBA action here today. A lot of people out, a lot of people questionable. So let's go ahead and break these games down and, try to figure out if we can get an angle here. We're going to start off with the Raptors taking on the Celtics, 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Beantown. Now, the Boston Celtics are the 8-point favorite at the Garden. Total's 217 flat. And if you like the Raptors in an upset on the road here, they're plus 280 on the money line. Now, we improved to 9-0 in our last 9 extra daily pick tier package plays on my Patreon website yesterday. And access to my extra daily pick tier membership costs just $2.99. We're also 13-2 in our last 15 premium sports picks in that very same extra daily pick category. Red hot right now in that particular membership. And if you want to join the 1,100 members who are currently signed up and active on that page, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Raptors are going to have to go to work without the efforts of McCall, Van Fleet, and Pascal Siakam. All are in COVID protocol. OG Anunoby's also out for the Raptors as well. Toronto's lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games, and they rank dead last in offensive rebounding. Now, Toronto also ranks in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage. They're taking on a Boston team who's 11-5 straight up at the Garden this season, and they currently find themselves on a 3-game winning streak. Jason Tatum scoring nearly 25 a game along with 6 boards and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown's dropping over 24.5 a night himself, 5.5 rebounds and 3 assists for the shooting guard. Boston is covering 69% of their ball games as the home team. They also rank in the top 10 defensively in home defensive rebounding. They're allowing just 108 points a night at the Garden. When it comes to the total on this one, 7 out of Boston's last 10 meetings with Miami stayed under the total. Meanwhile, Toronto saw 5 out of their last 9 stay under the line themselves. I'm also not so sure who's going to do the scoring here tonight for the Raptors. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics -8 and the under 217. Next matchup, Clippers, Wizards, 7 o'clock East. The LA Clippers are the 5.5-point favorite on the road here. Total's 235. Now, the Clippers are currently on a 2-game losing streak, just 3-5 against the spread in their last 8. Leonard and Morris are questionable for tonight's action. LA's in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding on the road. They're also in the bottom 3 in fourth quarter points allowed on the road as well. They're taking on a Washington team who's won 7 out of their last 10 themselves. They also went 80% against the number during that stretch. Bradley Beal scoring nearly 33 points a game for the Wizards, 5 rebounds and 4 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook's averaging 20 a game himself, along with 9 rebounds and 9 assists as well. Pretty good numbers out of Westbrook, the crafty veteran here, in a precarious situation with a struggling team. But the Wizards are in the top 3 in home scoring, and they do average 119 points a game at the Capital One Arena. Now, total-wise, 9 out of the Wizards' last 10 meetings with the Clippers got over the line. Washington is also 11-5 to the over as the official home team. Meanwhile, Los Angeles on the other side is 11-8 to the over when they travel themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Washington Wizards plus 5.5 and the over 235. Next ball game, Pistons versus the Knicks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Knicks are the 6.5-point favorite at home. That number jumped up 1.5 points toward the Knicks just in the past few hours, by the way. Heavy action on the Knicks. So once again, the Knicks are -6.5. Totals 209. And if you like the Pistons in an upset on the road here, they're plus 265 to win it. Now, Detroit's lost 6 out of their last 8 ball games. Just 4-15 straight up overall for the season. Detroit's dead last in the NBA in defensive field goal percentage on the road, and they average just 108 points per contest. Detroit's also leading scorer Jeremy Grant is out. Both Jacksons are out as well. They're taking on a Knicks team who's won 7 out of their last 10 themselves, and they covered the number in 70% of those contests. Now, the Knicks are also 10-7 straight up at Madison Square Garden this season, and they successfully covered the number 10 times in those home games. Julius Randle scoring 23 points a game for New York, 10 boards and 5.5 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, R.J. Barrett scoring over 16 a game himself, along with 6 boards and a couple assists as well. Just keep in mind, I've been kind of, saying this all season long. Both of those players have yet to miss a game yet this year through, 36, over 30 games. Now, the Knicks lead the NBA defensively in points allowed. They also lead the NBA in defensive field goal percentage. They're also limiting their opponents to just 32% shooting from beyond the arc as well. Now, total-wise, we're looking at 23 unders in New York's 36 games thus far in the season. Detroit's also 6-2 to the under in their last 8. And once again, not really sure who's gonna do the scoring for Detroit here tonight. So I'm gonna lean toward the New York Knicks -6.5 and the under 209. All right, next matchup: Nuggets versus the Pacers, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Denver Nuggets, are -4.5. Totals 225. Denver's on a 3-game winning streak, 5-2 straight up in their last 7. Now, the Nuggets are also in the top 5 in road scoring, top 3 in road offensive field goal percentage. They're also nailing 40% of their three-pointers away from home. Nikola Jokic is scoring 27 points a game along with 11 boards and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Jamal Murray scoring nearly 22 a night himself along with 4 boards and 4 assists as well. They're taking on an Indiana team who's won just 7 of 17 home games, and they covered the number just 35% of the time in those home contests. Indiana's in the bottom 3 in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in defending the 3-ball at home. Now, total-wise, Indiana's last 4 straight all got over the total, 7-1 to the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, Denver's gone 13-6 to the over on the road this season themselves, 8-2 to the over in their last 10 versus Indiana. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets -4.5 and the over 225. Next game, Bucks Grizzlies, 8 o'clock East. The Milwaukee Bucks are -6 on the road here. Totals 234.5. Now, the Bucks have failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 3, and they're just 40% against the number in their last 10. The Bucks currently have a losing record on the road this season, 2 games below 500 when they travel. They've also successfully covered the point spread in just 6 of 16 road games as well. The Bucks are in the bottom 10 defensively in points allowed on the road. They're also allowing their opponents to make 41% of their three-pointers in that same category. Now, they're taking on a Memphis squad who won 3 out of their last 4 themselves, and they rank in the top 10 defensively in points allowed. Ja Morant scoring 19 points a game along with 3 rebounds, 7 assists. Meanwhile, the big man, Jonas Valanciunas, he's scoring over 15.5 points a game himself along with 11 boards. Now, Memphis is in the top 10 in offensive rebounding, and they successfully covered the point spread in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this contest here, Memphis did see their last 5 straight all stay under the line. They're also 10-7 to the under at the FedEx Forum. Meanwhile, Milwaukee saw their last 2 straight stay under the line themselves, 5-4 to the under in their last 9. So with all that said and done, we're going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the Memphis Grizzlies +6 and the under 234.5. Next ball game, Heat Pelicans, 8:30 East. The New Orleans Pelicans, they are -3 with the total at 227. And if you like Miami to win this one outright on the road here, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. Now, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are both listed as questionable for Miami here tonight. Those are the top 2 scorers for this Miami squad, by the way. Now, the Heat's coming fresh off a game with Atlanta where they scored just 80 points in that loss. 80 points. And they also find themselves victorious in just 7 of 17 road games. Now, Miami's in the bottom 5 in road scoring, bottom 3 in road three-point percentage. They're taking on a Pelicans team who's scoring 119 points a game at the Smoothie King Center. And the Pels are currently making 49% of their field goals. Now, Zion Williamson is scoring over 25 points a game, along with 7 rebounds and 3 assists. Meanwhile, I almost said co-worker, his teammate, I guess a co-worker technically, but his teammate Brandon Ingram, he's dropping 24 a game himself, along with 5 boards and 4 assists as well. The Pelicans are in the top 3 in home scoring, top 3 in home offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, the Pelicans are 9-1 to the over in their last 10 ball games. They're a staggering 16-2 to the over as the official home team. And although I have no clue who's going to score here for Miami, the Pelicans always seem to find a way to put their games over the line at home. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean toward the New Orleans Pelicans -3 in the over 227. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Thunder versus the Spurs, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, the San Antonio Spurs are the 6.5-point favorite at home, numbers 220 even. But as good as they've looked recently, especially in certain spots, San Antonio's got a handful of guys out on COVID protocol, and they're also playing just 500 basketball this season at the AT&T Center. Now, White, Gay, and Vassell are all out on COVID protocol. LaMarcus Aldridge is questionable tonight himself. The Spurs are in the bottom 3 in defending the 3-ball at home, bottom 3 in home defensive rebounding. Now, they're taking on an OKC squad who's 12-6 against the number when they travel, and they currently lead the NBA in defensive 3-point percentage on the road. They're holding their opponents to just 30% shooting from beyond the arc away from home. Of course, when you're talking about OKC, got to mention Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's currently leading the team in scoring. He's averaging nearly 23 points a night for OKC, 5 rebounds, 6 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Al Horford scoring 14 a game himself, along with 6 rebounds and 3.5 assists. OKC's in the top 3 in let's try it again. OKC's in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage on the road, and they allow just 107 points a game when they travel as well. Total-wise, OKC's 70% to the under in their last 10 outings, 11-7 to the under when they travel. Meanwhile, the Spurs are 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves, 10-8 to the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the OKC Thunder plus 6.5 in the under 220. Next ball game, Warriors Suns, 10 p.m. Eastern start time in the desert. The Suns are -6.5 at home, totals 224. Phoenix is 8-2 straight up in their last 10, 80% against the number during that span. The Suns are currently 12 games above 500 for the season, and they've posted a record of 11-6 on their home court. Devin Booker scoring 25 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Chris Paul scoring over 16 a game himself, 4 rebounds, 9 assists for the multi-time All-Star. Phoenix is in the top 3 defensively in points allowed, top 3 in defending the 3-ball. They're taking on a Warriors club who's currently on a 2-game losing streak themselves. And they, I don't know any other way to put it, they just simply do not play well on the road. Golden State's been victorious in just 7 of 18 away from home, and they covered the number in only 38% of those ball games. Golden State's also won just 7 of 19 when catching plus money. They're dead last in defensive rebounding on the road, and they give up nearly 116 points a night when they travel. Now, Kelly Oubre has also been listed. He's been ruled as out for tonight's game. And when it comes to the number in this one, Golden State saw meetings with Charlotte, Orlando, Miami, and Brooklyn get over the posted total within the past few weeks or so. Meanwhile, Phoenix is 70% to the over in their last 10 themselves, 10-7 to the over as the official home team. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -6.5 in the over 224. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Kings versus the Blazers, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Portland. The Portland Trailblazers are -4.5 with the total at 236. Portland's on a 2-game winning streak, 70% against the number in their last 10. Damian Lillard is scoring 29 points a game along with 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Meanwhile, Gary Trent Jr. scoring 15.5 points per contest himself, along with a couple of boards as well. Portland's currently 10-6 straight up at the Moda Center. Top 10 in the NBA in offensive three-point percentage. They're taking on a Sacramento squad who's lost 8 out of their last 10 themselves. And they may have to go to work without Whiteside and Parker. The Kings have won just 6 of 15 away from home, and they rank dead last in the NBA defensively in points allowed. Sacramento gives up over 120 points a night, and they allow their opponents to make nearly 41% of their three-pointers. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Sacramento's 9-1 to the over in their last 10 ball games, 60% to the over officially on the road. Meanwhile, Portland's seen 6 out of their last 10 meetings with the Kings get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trailblazers -4.5 and the over 236. With that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again powered to you by my Patreon website, where we are 9-0 in our last 9 extra daily picks on that Patreon page, 13-2 in our last 15 premium picks in that same tier membership. I like Boston -8 under 217, Washington +5.5 over 235, New York Knicks -6.5 under 209, Denver -4.5 over 225, Memphis Grizzlies +6 under 234.5. New Orleans Pelicans -3 over 227. OKC Thunder +6.5 under 220. Phoenix Suns -6.5 over 224. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the show, one final reminder to please hit that subscribe button right now. If you really ended up enjoying today's video, I greatly appreciate it. Give me the Portland Trailblazers -4.5. and the over 236. And one final reminder here, guys. All my content on my YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes only. I don't make guarantees of any kind. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some YouTube shout-outs. Shout out to Pogs Luminog, Oregon Ayana, Benjamin Lucas, Michael Kosick, Jake Matakevich. Shout out to Ko Seguro, Isaiah Moore, Kevin E. Tandu, Dro Smith, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Luch1019. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.